Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this way.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Alrighty then.
Hey everybody, and welcome into the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 107. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here to wrap up E3 week. We've done a lot of coverage so far this week, and we're here to kind of put a lid on that with all of our thoughts and summaries of the show that just took place this week. But first, I want to introduce our co-host. Let's start with Graham. Graham, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I don't know about you guys, but this week has just flown by, and it's the weekend already, which is great. No complaints whatsoever. Definitely, after all that E3 hype, got my reinvigorated for some games, especially Fallout Shelter. I've been playing the living crap out of Fallout Shelter. I reached the maximum capacity of 200, and I had some pregnant dwellers. So then I had to be a pretty evil overseer and just pick out people who was not happy. And I evicted them. I'm like, get out. I need more room for people. So I went through a list, and whoever wasn't happy, I kicked them out. So if you're not happy in my vault, I'm going to kick you out. But other than that, that's pretty much been it. Like E3, there's been just a ton of information online, so I've been reading up on that and getting excited for sure. How you guys been doing this week?
Pretty good. I think all of us have kind of been energized to revisit a game. Steve, I know that's been the case for you. You're going to go back into a game, I think, as soon as we're done here. So why don't talk about that. How are you, first of all, and then talk about that.
I'm good. I'm still recovering. I didn't expect to be so, mentally drained after E3 was over. And then, I went back to work, and I was like, well, dang, I'm a little tired here. But no, I feel relaxed. Like yesterday, I just kind of unwound after work, didn't really do much. And this morning, I'm super reinvigorated to do this episode. And then after this episode, I'm going to start through all the Kingdom Hearts games on Twitch. And they're going to go up to YouTube as well. And I want to get them all done again before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, which has me so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, I know Steve was a little excited when we watched the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 that we first saw at Microsoft last Sunday. But, Steve, this was your first E3 with us. For me and Graham, this was our third. And we were kind of telling him, before this all started, hey, this it's a lot. And, we do a lot of coverage, pre-show and post-show for every single major conference, all that good stuff. If you're listening to us on Dash, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the show yet, do that because we have shows up for every single major conference, starting with EA all the way through Nintendo. And you'll be able to listen to those if you subscribe on iTunes, CastBox, Pocket Cast, whatever. But, we told him this, and he was like, it can't be that bad, and blah, blah, blah. And this year was the year we did more than we've ever done. And yeah, you were feeling it a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah, especially Tuesday. I went to work and then we came home and then we were doing the Nintendo show and I'm like, oh, I need to get I got an extra large soda because I needed the caffeine.
Yeah.
But no, it was really fun and I had a blast.
It's draining in a good way, right? It's super fun and we had a great time doing it. And please go back and listen if you haven't. But yeah, it's so much fun. We look forward to this week every single year. And, we'll start getting questions from the community by November, December about E3 next year. And we did this past year. And we had people in Discord counting down it's only 150 days till E3 and stuff like that. And it came quick. And we had a lot of fun with it. We're going to talk about it all here on this episode. But before we get to that, we'd love for you to come join our community. We had our community grow a ton over E3 week, and thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it in a huge way. But you can do that by heading on over to Facebook, looking up the Gaming Hub forums there. You can go to Twitch, which we're broadcasting live on right now, and look up TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch, hit follow, and make sure you catch us every time we're on. You can go to Twitter, at TXH Gaming Hub there. We also have a YouTube channel we're going to be doing some really cool new stuff with here in the next couple weeks. But that is the Gaming Hub Podcast. And if you're on Twitch or Facebook, you'll see a link to our Discord. We invite you to come join that as well. Really easy way to communicate with the community. We get some good discussion going there. And you know, I personally love Discord quite a bit. So come on over and join that as well. And then finally, if you listen to the show and you're like, hey, really like this show, A, thank you, but B, if you would like to support us, we have a lot of big goals that we want to accomplish in the next year. And one of them is to actually be at E3 next year and bring you guys some awesome exclusive coverage, both video and audio, of stuff that we kind of see and experience. It is our plan right now to be there next year, but any support you can give us in helping accomplish that is really appreciated, and the best way to do that is head on over to Patreon and look up our page there. It's patreon.com/gaminghub. And we've already had some people go in there and do that. We'll call them out at the end of the show, but appreciate it more than you know. And it's a great way to help support not only the show, but the community as well. So with that, guys, let's jump in to E3. And the way we're going to do that, because we dug into every conference over the course of the week on other episodes, but we each put together a top 5, and there's no overlap in the choices. So we're going to talk about 15 games/announcements and dig into those a little bit. So I'm going to start first, and my number 5 is The Last of Us Part 2. And I know there were some mixed reaction to Sony's conference itself, like starting out in the tent and then having this super long intermission where they moved people from the tent into the auditorium, and it was just really bizarre and weird and awkward if you're watching it on stream. But the game itself looks great. They built a new engine for combat, and you know we learned a little bit more in terms of details about the game as the week went on. But Ellie's 19 this time around. She, you know, is pretty skilled in terms of survival and combat. We saw that during the trailer, and you know there's some gore and brutality in what we saw, and it's appealing to me. It looks fun, and we know Naughty Dog's capable of delivering amazing stories, but I think the gameplay looks pretty fun too. And I think we might have some mixed opinions here, but Steve, I want to go to you first. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
The gameplay looks pretty awesome. A little unrealistic, to be honest, based on the trailer, but it looks fun. I will be picking this up. I need to go back and play through the first one just to get through the story. I didn't finish it because I might be in the minority here, but I don't like Naughty Dog's gameplay. I don't think they do gameplay good at all. So, but it does look improved in this one. I'm excited, and I did read somewhere that Ellie is the only playable character in The Last of Us Part 2. So, if you were hoping to see anyone else, I'm sorry, Graham.
Yeah, Graham.
Yeah, no, they showed the game really well. It did get me excited for it. It did raise some questions. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I got to finish the first one before I even attempt this, which is definitely the case. I will not play this game until I finish the first one, or I look up like some videos where it explains it or completes it, because yeah, I'm not going to talk about what questions it rose, but I probably went 3/4, maybe a little under. I'm not quite sure of the first game. I actually played it on PS3 when it came out, and I thought the game was amazing. Like, people argue that was the best game of that console generation. So I was really excited to play it, and I got into it, and I don't know what happened, but I kind of just fell away from it. Did GTA 5 come out shortly after that, or was that same year? Because
Yes.
I remember I was kind
Yes,
of, yeah.
it did. Yep.
So that might have been what happened. GTA 5 came along, and I'm like, The Last of what? But no, I'm definitely excited. The gameplay looked awesome. It was so fluid, and did get me excited for it, but I don't want to get too excited, because I don't know when this is coming out exactly, and there's a lot of other great games, but I'm definitely going to keep up on the information, and gives me lots of time to finish the first one, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we got no release date, so that's kind of a bummer.
Did we even get a year?
Nope. No
Nothing
window, nothing.
Okay.
So, but, I mean, what we saw looks fairly far along.
Yes.
So there's a possibility we'll see it next year. My guess is they're going to do kind of the same thing this generation that they did last, and kind of have this be sort of the swan song of the generation. We'll see, because we're going to talk about it later in the show, but there's a rumored year that we're going to see new consoles now. So, but we could see it next year. I think there's a good, at least a decent possibility of that. But Graham, I want to stick with you and go to your number 5 next.
My number 5 was Tomb Raider, or I should be more specific, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is the 3rd game in the trilogy. So this, I'm not going to say it's going to end the story, or like, it's kind of like it's a trilogy, right? So obviously it's the last one in it. And we know this game is coming out this year. So I was a big fan of the first one. And when the second one came out, I got it. No, I didn't get it on day one because it came out at the same time as Fallout 4, which that kind of sucked. But I did order it. When it came in, I played through it. I don't think I played anything until I got through it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was such an upgrade from the first one. And I feel like the third one is just going to be more of an upgrade. I know some people is kind of giving it a little more negative aura around it because they're kind of tired at the same time. But I'm fully engaged in the story and the characters. I love the transverse, or yeah, I think that's the word. Anyways, climbing around and all that
Traversal.
Stuff.
But you're on it.
Yeah, I was close. But yeah, like climbing the cliffs and with their your climbing axe and stuff like that in 4K, it's gonna look so stunning, and I'm just so excited. And Lara looks like she's turned into a badass in this one, so I definitely look forward to playing her character and completing that story. What do you guys think of it?
I'll go real quick. It looks great. My concern is the gameplay we saw. The more I thought about it, the more it was just like sort of like stealth kill simulator. And all we kept seeing pop up on the screen was like stealth kill plus 30 or whatever it was, as you went through the world. And I wish we would have seen a little bit more variety in what the game was actually going to be. But regardless, this is the day one for me. What do you think, Steve?
I like stealth kills. I enjoy playing that way more than I enjoy playing the way I think you like playing, which is just like running gun or, cover-based shooters. But I am not like super excited for this game just because I played the first one, liked it well enough. I'm still trying to find time to play the second one. Haven't found the time yet. Don't know if I ever will. So I can't play the third one without playing the second one. So I'm like, I'll wait for it to go on sale for $20 like I did with the other two and pick up the definitive edition and get all the DLC and enjoy it then, hopefully.
Yeah. So, all right. Steve, let's go to you for your number 5.
All right. Well, because of the cringy nature of the presentation, it almost got bumped off my list, but I kept it on there. And that's Trials Rising. The guy comes in and trips and falls and breaks the little stand with the podium, and it was just so weird. But then the gameplay gets shown, and I love the Trials games. They're really fun, especially they're a good. I think I've used this word before on the show, but palate cleanser in a way where I can jump in, play a map or two for half an hour to an hour before I figure out what I actually want to play, or I get sucked in and play it for 3 hours straight. It just kind of depends, but I love the Trials games. This game does seem like it's going to be all online, and that kind of annoys me a little bit because I like playing the maps by myself and just messing around like that. But they got the community really involved with making the maps and showing, and they're letting them decide how the game's going to be made. And that actually kind of worked really well with the last one that came out. Evolution had a DLC pack that was the Red Lynx team versus the track All-Stars. And those maps were really awesome. The community made maps got put in a DLC, and that was really cool. So I'm super excited for this game. I know you guys aren't huge Trials fans, but did something you saw make you want to give it a go?
Yeah, I mean, I've basically tried pretty much every Trials game that's come out and played a little bit of it. I get frustrated with some of the difficulty in it, and that's just me. And I get frustrated with the difficulty because I'm not a huge fan of it, right? Yeah. So there's a the bar set lower for me to just be okay, I'm done. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks really good. minus the guy like intentionally tripping into the podium and breaking it. That was just really weird. But, and not to mention his like entrance into the arena to begin with, like
Yeah.
coming in on the motorcycle and like the Evel Knievel outfit type thing. Yeah, I could have done without all of that, but I'm sure some people got a kick out of it. Graham, anything on Trials? You looking forward to it?
Well, first of all, I get the spectacle of people wants to make it the biggest thing ever, and sometimes they do something and it doesn't go over well with the crowd, and they're like, well, that was kind of stupid, or us, or whatever. But some people like it, so you can't please everybody. But overall, the game, as far as Trials go, I've never played a Trials game. I've watched some of the video or like the trailer or something like that, and I do get excited for it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, maybe I'd try that. But I don't see me going out and spending a lot of money or any money maybe for these types of games. But they're fun, and I know a lot of people love these types of games, so it's always great to see this. And this is a game that all the time we were talking about it, never even registered, on the radar. So
Yeah.
It's good to get a little surprise announcement and catch people off guard, because we all like surprises, and when everything isn't spoiled, it's always great. But I don't know. I'm not going to commit to picking up this game. We'll just see how it goes.
Okay. So speaking of surprises, Graham, let's go to my number 4. And EA makes the cut on one of our lists at least. So EA actually didn't have a bad conference this year. Like, it was fine. It was better than years past. It wasn't amazing. It didn't blow anybody away. We actually did a poll on Facebook, and EA got 0 votes as the best conference. Only one that got 0. But Unravel 2 getting announced. We knew it was a thing, and that they were working on it. We saw the trailer, and we saw that, now Yarny has a friend, and you kind of play together, and there's couch co-op in the game, or you can play it solo. And you work together to kind of get around the world and overcome some of the puzzles and obstacles, things like that. And the game looked great. I'm sold. I love the first Unravel. And then they came out and said, by the way, this game is available today. It's done. It's ready. Buy it. Enjoy it. And I thought that was fantastic. I already played it and I already beat it. And I love it. I think it's great. I'll be honest, I prefer the story sort of from the first one more and the environments, but I really like the gameplay from the second one. I thought it was a ton of fun. For $20, it's a great experience. Can't go wrong. I want to go to Steve next because, Steve, you originally were not super high on Unravel. And this announcement kind of made you go back to it. So tell us your thoughts. And you've not only played through the first one this week, but also the second. So give us your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I tried to play Unravel the first few times, and I'd get through like the first 1 or 2 like worlds and be like, okay, I'm bored or whatever. And then like this, they come out with Unravel 2, and it looks awesome. Like having the 2 little Yarnies connected to each other and like using them as anchor points instead of anchor points in the world, like looked awesome. It looked more fluid. Like the movement, it reminded me more of like Ori, and that's a game I love a lot. And so I was like, all right, you know what? I feel like I need to play through the first one before I play the second one. So I went back and I started playing the first one, and then I beat the first one, and then I started playing the second one and just beat it. And I do quite enjoy them. They're more difficult than I thought they were, because the first few maps of the first game were kind of easy, but the challenge maps in the second one and some of the later levels in the first one were a little more tough, especially to get some of the collectibles. So I am gonna go back and play through the challenge maps every now and again, because they don't take super long, but they're nice to just do when you're like waiting on everyone to get on to play a big game. And so yeah, I actually thought that was a really cool moment that they announced it coming out right away. That was awesome to me.
Yeah, Graham, how about you?
Yeah, so I was the first one to download this game, and I'm the only one out of the 3 of us who haven't completed it yet. But no, I absolutely loved the first one. Story was great and all that stuff. That being said, this game is awesome, still just as great, and the mechanics and the gameplay and all that, super fun. But I felt like I prefer the first one more, maybe because of story and I was like discovering it for the first time. But don't get me wrong, I will go back. I will go and I will finish this game, and I'll probably look up where all the collectibles is and probably get all the collectibles. And I like how they offer like a time trial. So there's like gold, silver, and bronze depending on how fast. So it does give you a lot of replayability. And I know some people will just soak up that challenge and all that stuff. But yeah, the game is really fun. I kind of wish it had online co-op. You don't know if this is a thing that they didn't plan on right from the get-go. They're like, no, we're not doing this. It's just co-op or couch co-op only. Maybe they're thinking, oh, you play with your kids or something like that. But personally, between the three of us, like I would have played with either one of you guys.
Yeah.
And kind of missed out on that. I was looking forward to playing, like, because the thing is, like, you keep switching back and forth. So if two people are playing it, well, you don't have to worry about switching back and forth. So you can kind of get through things quicker, especially when you got to, like do all this effort to get Yarny up top, and then you got to switch, and then you got to get the other one up there, right? So I think it would be really interesting to see how it plays as couch co-op. But no, the story's great. The gameplay, this game is a lot harder than the first one. I got to one point where I was playing it pretty hardcore, and then I got to this one point, and I'm like, okay, I could just keep on doing this over and over, or I can take a break from it. And I did take a break, and I just haven't went back to it. But I will, and it also has the challenges in part of it, which people will love, and I'll definitely give that a go. But overall, great game. I love that they announced it's like available today.
Yeah.
And just one last thing is, why did they not announce this for the Nintendo Switch? To me, this streams like the perfect game for Nintendo Switch, and hopefully they realize, yep, we kind of screwed up this one, dropped the ball, so maybe they'll bring it to that console in the future.
Yeah, and I'm with you. It strikes me as a great game for that platform, but really small developer too. I mean, they're backed by EA, sure. But really small developers, so maybe it just wasn't in the cards this time. I don't know. We might see it down the road in yet another Nintendo Switch port, Graham, for you. So
yet another one.
Let's stick with Graham. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Dying Light 2. Now, I wanted to play the first one, and I think I was in school at that time, and my fundages were really low, and I couldn't justify spending the money on it. And now I don't know how the second one will compare to the first one, but the second one looks awesome. And the fact that how they showcased it, how your decision affects the outcome, this seems to be like a going trend now because engines are more powerful and the systems are more powerful. But this game looks awesome. I've been always trying to find that really good zombie game. State of Decay has been lots of fun. I just haven't put enough time into it. But this is definitely more robust than that game. So, yeah, no, it looks great. Looks like there's a ton of content and factions. The parkour, probably going to struggle with that, not going to lie. I played that Mirage game and stuff like that, but then it kind of like wore off on me. And I don't even know what the hell is going to happen at night. Like, usually that's when things get really running for your life or you hide or whatever. So I'm definitely excited for that game. I'm going to get in on this one. I don't know if I'm going to play the first one or if it's necessary. I was just looking on the Xbox store, to be honest with you, and it is being discounted right now. But I got Assassin's Creed Origins, so I'm like, I just can't keep buying all these games. I'll be like Steven, I'll have all these games and I'll never complete anything. So, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. What do you guys think about this game?
I'm really hyped for it. I actually really enjoyed the first one. I think it's better playing in co-op than it is playing solo. And I just didn't have, a lot of people that wanted to play at that point in time. So, actually, I'm really interested in revisiting it and playing through it before the second one comes out. Steve?
Yeah, me as well. I didn't have anyone to play co-op with, and I had fun single player, but it was difficult, and I don't know, I just lost interest. But the second one looks awesome. I remember being like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. and when I was watching the trailer, and I love the fact that your choices kind of change the outcome of the world. Now, a lot of games end up promising that and then under-delivering. That's also been a trend in gaming, but I do think with the way that like the systems get more powerful, all the engines they're building these games on get more powerful, I think choices will start mattering a little more. And so I am hyped to play this game, and I hope it's more than 2-player co-op, but I don't think it will be because I'd like to play with both of you guys. But I'll settle for
Tyler
or something.
Yeah,
we'll figure that out when the game comes out.
All right, Steve, we'll stay with you. How about your number 4?
All right, well, number 4 was a joke that kind of got us twice, I think.
Yeah, it did.
Todd Howard comes out on stage and makes the joke of, like, where's Skyrim going next? And then they show a video that was absolutely hilarious with Keegan-Michael Key playing Skyrim on the Alexa. And I was like, I was just dying laughing. Graham was dying laughing. Tyler was pissed at us because he couldn't hear because we were laughing so hard. And then all of a sudden, like the next morning, I remember we were reading like Twitch chat during one of the pre-shows, and they're like, "Hey, I played Skyrim, like very special edition on last night," and I'm like, "Wait, it's real?" And yeah, apparently the game is real. And you know what? I'm gonna buy an Alexa. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. Yep. And that's kind of why this winds up as number 4 on my list, just because it was like so funny, and it was Bethesda making fun of themselves, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was the best troll moment of E3. I thought it was fantastic. Other people have said, well, the Smash Brothers one was really good too, when they were like the end. No, it wasn't. Like, everybody knew that wasn't the end. So this one was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was great. I went back and watched it because Steve's right, I wasn't able to hear, and it's absolutely hilarious. It's fantastic. At the end, he's playing it on like his screen on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's great. And then to learn that it's actually real, like, great job, Bethesda. Hats off to you for that. And they just left it for people to kind of figure it out. Because they knew somebody was going to go try, right? And then it's there. So that's awesome. And Grammy, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I back you up 100%. That was awesome. That was easily the funniest moment of E3. I don't even know if there were very many funny moments. They tried to have funny moments, but a lot of them didn't really come off as funny. But this really did come off as funny, and people really thought it was a joke because they were playing Skyrim under Beeper. They were playing Skyrim under Fridge, Skyrim on something else, I forget. So they're like, oh, they're just being ridiculous. They're putting Skyrim on everything. Mm-hmm. And yeah, lo and behold, it is a real thing. And I'm more intrigued to this game because, for one, because everything's all about Alexa now, right? I'm like, oh, what is this Alexa? This seems pretty cool, but I'm like, I don't know if I really want one or can justify it. Well, then this comes out, I'm like, well, it's been justified. But not sure when I'm going to get this, but I'm just really curious to see how it works because I've played Skyrim a little bit and I understand that game with a controller and all that stuff, but how does it work using voice command? So I'm really, really, really curious how it works and definitely excited for that. But no, kudos to Bethesda. You had everybody, I'm pretty sure. Some people probably thought, oh, what a great idea, and they like Google it and they're like, wow, you can actually buy this. So no, that was awesome. Like, they felt like we don't even need to announce this. Let's let them figure it out themselves.
Yep.
So that was great to see, for sure.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move into my number 3, which is Spider-Man, coming for the PlayStation 4 this fall. It's a game we're actually getting this fall that was shown off this year, which is pretty cool. The gameplay they showed off, Graham, looked pretty damn awesome.
Yes.
And it looks like this game is going to be something that is going to make fans of like superhero games just super happy, and fans of Insomniac really happy. I can't wait to get my hands on this. This is a day one for me. What do you think?
I think this is a day one. I don't know what else would I'd be getting for the PlayStation at this point. I haven't really thought it all through. But yeah, when I watched the trailer, I was a big Spider-Man fan, like when I was really young, those old cartoons. And then when I saw all the enemies being introduced in this trailer, I'm like, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one. So, and the combat looked amazing. The trailer video that we saw, I don't know, a couple months back, that had me hooked. I was already hooked. And then when I watched this and I saw what else the game had to offer, yeah, hook, line, and sinker. I'm all in on that game. And like you said, it is a game that come this fall. There's going to be some competition, so I might have some tough choices to make. When does this game come out again? Remind me.
Steve, is it early October, I want to say?
No, September.
Oh, September. Yeah, September 7th. That's right. This is the September one.
September 7th.
So let's have a good time, Graham. And the only game coming out around then that's going to even compete for your time really is NHL.
Yeah. Yes.
So
it is. And with it competing with the NHL, it's a different experience. Because like I like playing NHL, and I'll put in like maybe 4 or 5 games. But now I'll be like, all right, I played my 4 or 5 games. I'm going back to Spider-Man. But it does give me a window of like a week. So
well, Graham, I actually take that back because Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes out right around the same time. So you got that as well as Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't think it's the same day, but it's right.
I think it's the week after.
Yeah, it's the
it
week
might
after.
be 2 weeks after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's getting tight in there.
Yeah, so you got choices.
I might just put the blinders on and just go straight through like the main story. I don't want to waste time with all these quests if Shadow of the Tomb Raider is going to come out and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to stop playing this game. Because if I stop, I might not go back unless it's one of the most amazing games I've played. But I am really looking forward to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And I feel like I've dedicated to the first 2 games and I've really enjoyed them. So I owe it to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So if that's the case, then I will probably not do any side, kind of like what I did with God of War. And I totally enjoyed going through the campaign and the story. And I know there's a lot to offer if I wanted to go back. So I'll probably do the same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder how much replayability is going to be there for that. But,
yeah.
But I have no doubt the first playthrough is going to be absolutely amazing. Steve, what do you think?
I'm super excited for Spider-Man. I disagree with Graham. I don't think you owe Tomb Raider anything just because you played the first 2 if the third one sucks. I mean, Spider-Man is more than likely going to be the better reviewed game. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider will probably be shorter. So at the very least, you just put it off to the side while you beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider and then come back. Because Shadow of the Tomb Raider does release a week after Spider-Man. So you have a week to get as far as you want and then go play Shadow and then come back. You know, you can always come back to a game. I don't, but you could.
Yeah, practice what you preach there.
But I'm excited. There's nothing else, like, basically between now and September that's coming out that has me, like, absolutely thrilled. I mean, Nier at the end of this month, and No Man's Sky, but those are probably not going to be bought on day one. Besides Mario Ace is pretty awesome. But Spider-Man's going to be the first of the fall window, if you even want to call September the fall window. And I'm just pumped. The trailer looked awesome. It's exactly what I want in the Spider-Man game, and I just can't wait for this game. Yeah. Can't wait.
All right, Graham, let's go to you for your number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, kind of like Unraveled, it's kind of that type of game, but I'm definitely, it's tough if I had to choose between the 2, but I am really excited for this game. Fortunately, I don't have to choose between the 2, and I will be picking up this game. I don't think we have a month. We just know it's coming out next year. I watched some gameplay on it earlier, and it just got me more excited. Ori this time, he has like so many more abilities, especially like fighting abilities. So they did showcase some of that in the trailer at E3. But yeah, this is going to be in 4K. I'm guessing HDR. And this game looked awesome before, and now it's just going to look even more awesomer. And what I saw just like seems like they just stepped up their game and they added more to it. I know it's still going to be a great story to just draw you in. And the puzzles, obviously, they're going to get harder. And that game, the thing I liked about that game is it was really hard at first, like to traverse around, but then you would unlock like parts, like skills in your skill tree. And then, because a lot of it, you got to like go back to areas you were, but then it just makes it a lot easier so you don't die as much, and then you'll get more life and stuff like that. But this was a game where I tried as best as possible to 100% everything. And like some of the regions, I think I 99% of it, and I spent, I don't know, like half an hour, 45 minutes, or maybe less or more, trying to just open that one door that gives me 100%, and I couldn't find it. But that game is so much fun, especially at the end when you got all the abilities unlocked and you can just fly from one end to the other really fast. And like, I'm sure it's going to be a lot bigger and stuff like that. So I'm 100% excited for this. And we know this is an Xbox exclusive, which I'm pretty sure that's the only thing on my list that's Xbox exclusive. So yeah, that one's definitely got my eyes peeled for it. What do you guys think of this? You guys are big fans of this as well, so back me up here.
Yeah, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Ori game. I love Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm so excited for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I was hoping that Microsoft was going to pull an EA and be like, this game is also out today. But they were like, no, not until 2019. And I'm like, it's not even a summer release. So it's, I'm excited for it. It's far away, though, so I'm going to kind of put it on the back burner because I have so much to play in the next 12 months before this game comes out. But I am excited. It looks gorgeous, and I'm sure it's going to play amazing.
Yeah, the first one was done so well. And just everything about it. The story, like the first 10 minutes hits you hard. And it gives purpose to everything you're trying to do in the game. The way you gain abilities, the difficulty of the game, it just makes for kind of that perfect experience. And for being a, quote, smaller game, man, there's a lot to it. So I really enjoyed it. I'm really hyped for the second one. Like Steve, I'm trying to kind of rein that in because there's so much stuff to play between here and then. So, and I find like if I get super hyped for something way off in the future, I just don't enjoy as much all the stuff I play on the way to it. So it's there, it's great. I'm sure I'll love it when it comes out, but I'm like you. I wish it would have been a little sooner. I was hoping it'd be this year just because of the lack of exclusives they have. But we're going to talk about that later when we talk about Microsoft's kind of strategy, which we got a lot of insight into last Sunday, and how it kind of works and how it makes the future look really good. So, yeah, I'm super hyped for it, though, Graham, like you are, and can't wait to play it. So, Steve, let's go back to you. You're number 3.
All right, my number 3, I knew it was coming, at least based on the Switch reveal, but I didn't know it was coming this soon, and that's the Fire Emblem Three Houses game. I think it's slated for next, like, spring, or even, it might even be a little earlier, but next year at some point. And it's just Fire Emblem on the Switch, and that's exactly what I wanted. I can't wait, because I love Fire Emblem. They didn't show all that much, like, gameplay-wise, or even, like, story-wise too much, but I'm excited. Fire Emblem games are awesome. They're so much fun. They're fun little strategy games. It's going to be another reason to get back on my Switch, and I can't wait.
All right, I'm going to defer to Steve's opinion on that because I don't know that much about him, and it doesn't really look like something I'd love, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be great. So, Graham, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't have many thoughts. I really don't know much about Fire Emblem series other than Steven loves them, and he keeps recommending them to me. The fact this is a Switch game, I don't know. Like, if he streams it, I'll watch and stuff like that, but I'll probably look up some video and maybe I can get into it because I did like these types of games way back in the day, and I really haven't spent any time trying them as of late. So I'm sure they've vastly improved, and it's probably a lot of fun. So I'm not going to take anything away from it. I trust Steven's theory on it. But yeah, I don't have much. I'm happy to see that Fire Emblem fans like Steven and everyone else, they get a taste of this game, and the fact that it's another great game to be on the Switch definitely helps the Nintendo Switch, which makes me happy. So that's all I have to say on that.
All right, cool. So let's move into our number 2s, and this is where we're getting into the games that we're just so hyped for. But mine is Skull and Bones, and if you've listened to the show in the past, it's no secret like how much I'm looking forward to this game. First of all, I'm a little bummed that it's still next year that I got delayed into, but man, what we saw of it looks absolutely freaking amazing. The demo, the gameplay we saw, how you can kind of call other people in to help you, just kind of using deception to get past the fort. attacking a more powerful ship, and then having even a more powerful ship attack you in response, and having to call people in to help you. Man, everything about this game looks amazing. The world looks awesome. It's just so well done. I'm so hyped for it. I have such high hopes. What do you guys think?
Oh, I'm so pumped, dude, for this game. Like, I'm with you. The trailer looked amazing. I wasn't as hyped as you guys were last E3, but this E3, like, because I think it was because Sea of Thieves, like, kind of was so bad compared to what I wanted. And I don't mean it was a bad game. I just mean, like, it didn't even reach the levels of, or what, it didn't hit what I wanted from a pirate game. But this Skull and Bones looks like it will. I can't wait to play it. I hope it's like a late spring release, so I have the entire summer to play it with nothing else around it. That's the dream anyways. We'll see if that happens. I hope it's not a fall of next year release, because then that's just more money I have to spend in that window. But I'm excited. Really, really excited.
Yeah, I'll say before we go to Graham, if it's not like summer next year, I don't want it to be spring. There's already way too much stuff in the spring of next year. Like, March of next year is already looking like October of this year. And yeah, I don't want it then. But if it's not summer, I'd rather see it in the fall, to be honest with you.
Well, I was thinking May, June.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, that's when I want it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's when they deliver it. If not, then go earlier and come out in like February. But yeah, no matter when it comes out, I'm getting it. So, Graham, what do you think?
If only they would release games when we wanted them. That would make life so much better and so much easier to make these decisions. But no, I think this is one of the games that by showing video of it, it just put my hype so much higher. Like, the way they showcased it, and they showed the ship battles and what you can do, and I just got super excited. I was actually debating about putting this on my list, but I was kind of nice, and I took some of the bigger ones, so I'm like, Tyler, you can have this one. But this one's definitely way up there for one of the games where I'm most hyped for, because I thoroughly enjoyed Black Flag, the whole ship battles, and what that had to offer. And this game definitely had hints of it. It's from the same company, Ubisoft. So, and like I said, we've played Sea of Thieves a long time ago now. I don't remember last time, because the nostalgia is kind of worn off on us. I know they're trying to bring it back with some DLC, which we could probably get back into it and just to see. But it did like start that itch of like pirates and the sea and stuff like this. But I think Skull and Bones is just taking it to a whole new level. The customization and picking different types of cannons, and they all have like different attributes, and you pick and choose and decide what you're going to do. So no, I'm 100% excited for this game. We don't know if it's just single player or if it has some co-op or what it has, but it doesn't really matter. Even if
no, we know it has the co-op, Graham. We know it does.
Oh, it does have. Oh yeah. Separate ships though. Yeah. I meant co-op on like the same ship. But yeah, I forgot about that whole aspect of like teaming up with two ships to take on like a bigger ship and calling in somebody. Oh, yeah. There's so much great things that this game has to offer. So 100%. And everyone listening, you guys want to join in on whatever? Because hopefully we can have like big servers with lots of people. That would be great to experience together. So yeah, no, I'm totally hyped for this game.
Yeah, 100%. So Graham, will stay with you. What's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is surprisingly, like, if I look at this list, I'm like, wow, I put this far up here. But more and more I watched this game and learned from it, I got more and more excited. If they showed it for 10 hours, I probably would have watched for 10 hours and just got more and more excited as each hour passed by. But that game is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, oh man, I know people are like, yeah, Melee was the best and this game was the best, and I'm like, well, never played it. I played it on Nintendo 64. It's the only system I've played it on. I played the crap out of it with friends at the time. I didn't even know what the game was. There was 4 of us, so we all had our own little character that we would go to, and like before school, like we would just meet up and we would just play that game, and then maybe after school. But that game was so much fun. I definitely understand why people are so hyped about it. And now with this one, they have over 60 characters. So basically, every character that you've ever seen in a Smash Brothers, right from its inception to like the last one, whatever that one was. I would think it was on the 3DS, on Wii U maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people are diehard Super Smash Brother fans, and they're even releasing a GameCube controller that you can use for the Switch, which people that are hardcore into it, that's their go-to. That arguably that was the best controller for Smash Brothers. So like I said, I was watching it, I was picking up the lingo. Like I feel like I could go and have a conversation with somebody who's been a Smash Brother fan for like 10 years, and they'd be like, so which one do you play? I'd be like, Nintendo 64. They're like, you kidding me? Yeah, I'm like, no, but I'm like, no, I'm totally excited for it. Hopefully you guys get in on this, and this looks like a super fun game to stream or to watch people stream, because they're short little battles and you don't have to invest a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And like I said, there's 64 characters, so I'm not going to learn all of them, all their moves and all that stuff. So I'll probably just pick a select few, maybe a 3, and just work from there. But mm-hmm. yeah, like even like the backgrounds and how it interacts, and I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, so they had the big like tower from Zelda, which the top can like fall down, but then it reforms through its magic power. But like in the background, you can see the whole map of like Breath of the Wild. Like when you turn, like, so it's awesome to see all the work that went into it to recreate these maps and the backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about you guys. Are you guys Smash Brother fans? I don't really know your guys' background on Smash Brother.
I don't have much of a background in it. Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. I don't have a whole lot to add because Graham covered it pretty extensively. But you know, they spent a lot of time on this in their show. I mean, it seems like about almost 2/3 of the time was spent on Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is great. I mean, it's a big release coming out this year. I'm definitely intrigued, and right now I'd have to say I'm leaning towards getting it, especially because of when it releases. It's really late in the fall season in December. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Steve, what do you have?
I'm excited, except that there's no Waluigi, so I will not be buying it anymore because whereas Waluigi, that just Nintendo just hates us Waluigi fans.
Over 60-something characters is not enough, eh? You gotta have one more that's not on that list.
Why are they not giving us Waluigi? Okay, what did he do to you, Nintendo?
Right now, you sound like everybody in every comments thing ever. Like they could have 300 characters, and there'd be someone being like, "What about this one? I don't want it now. I'm not getting it."
No, I'm joking mostly because I have seen those comment sections, and Waluigi is one of the main trends. No, I like Smash Bros. Like I said, I'm excited to Kirby Graham off the face of existence. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna happen. I'm not a huge fighting game fan, but I do like the Smash games because they're more like user friendly, I think, than a lot of others, because you can turn items on and it kind of makes it so that even if you're not the best, you can still kind of get lucky to win. Mm-hmm. And that's always nice.
Cool. All right, so we'll stay with you. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is a game that apparently I'm the only one of the 3 of us that really, really, really loves, but that's Kingdom Hearts. It's been 13 years since Kingdom Hearts 2 has come out. And it'll be almost 14 by the time Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, because it's releasing on the 29th of January next year. But we have a release date. We saw the trailer like 4 times this E3, culminating with the PS4 trailer, which was a longer version of the other 2. And it showed us Pirates of the Caribbean. But on top of that, we know we're getting like Monsters, Inc., Toy Story, Tangled, Frozen, and Hercules World, the Olympus Coliseum probably is coming back in some form. And I think we're getting Big Hero 6. I think that was confirmed. There's just so much in this game that's so different than the other 2, but in good ways. Like, the amount of, like, variety between all the levels. Like, you know, because in the old ones, sometimes there were costume changes, but that was about it. Now it seems like your movesets can change and like all the abilities you can use. I'm so pumped. We've been waiting on Kingdom Hearts 3 for 13 years, and we're finally getting it. I can taste it. Okay, I can't wait for this game. I'm like, my hype level is through the roof. I want it to be January already. I care more about this game than anything that's coming out in the fall. I know Graham and Tyler will disagree with me here, and I know a lot of people will, and that's fine. And I'm excited for the games this fall, but I am so pumped for Kingdom Hearts, and that's why it's number 2 on my list.
Right.
Okay, it's probably not number 2 on a lot of people's, but it's number 2 on mine.
So, again, I'm just going to defer to Steve on that. The fact that there's like a 3-hour video to sum up what's happened up till now is a little daunting to me.
Yeah.
And because I haven't played any of the other games, so I'd be kind of coming in blind and new to it. And apparently, according to Steve, that is not a good idea. Like, you want to at least know what the story is. So I'll probably try to watch this video. Hopefully, it'll keep me for all 3 hours.
Keep you awake.
So, but Graham, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, like the fact that it will be over 13 years by the time they get it, and they're still excited. They've been excited. They haven't like forgotten about it, and they knew it was coming. That kind of shows how powerful this game is. So I don't know anything about this game. I know if I was a huge Disney fan, then I would appreciate it a lot more. Like I've watched, I wouldn't say most of them, maybe most of the movies like once. And they're great and all that stuff, but I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not like, these are some of the best movies. I'm a huge Toy Story fan. Toy Story is probably one of my top ones of all time. And I would almost play it just for the Toy Story aspect of it, but I know there's going to be like stuff like Tangled I've never watched, so I'm like, I don't really care about these characters, stuff like that. But I appreciate how people are excited for it. Like I said, people that are huge Disney fans through all the movies, I'm sure they would absolutely love this game, especially if they like JRPGs and gaming. Like, it just melds it so good that it's such a great idea. And, like, the gameplay looks awesome. When they showed Pirates of the Caribbean, which other conferences didn't show except for the Sony one, that looked awesome. And I can see, because I get in arguments too about Pirates of the Caribbean. I know some people think it's some of the best. I thought they should have ended at the first one. Don't hate me. You can hate me. That's my opinion. But no, it's great. The game looks like it plays awesome, and Steven's finally getting that game that he don't shut up about. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, before you know it, Steven, it will be January, and you'll be playing it, and my ears will be burning from you screaming about it.
All right. So let's move into our number one games / moments from E3. And, as much as Steve's a huge Kingdom Hearts fan and Graham goes Duckies and Bunnies for Nintendo all the time, I'm the one that's probably that way for me is Halo. And to see, like, Halo Infinite come across the screen right away at the beginning of the Microsoft show was just amazing. And it brought out, like, little kid moment in me again to see that. And the only bummer is that it's a long ways away. But it's part of the promise that Microsoft's making for the future, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But, man, it was just so cool to see that on the screen again and have it kick off the show, and it was just a great moment. We were all like, wow, that's awesome, when we were watching it. And I'm not going to talk about it forever because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. They didn't show a whole lot. We didn't see any gameplay whatsoever. We got a pretty good idea of what the world looks like, things like that, and that's about it. But I'm just so excited to see kind of what this game is going to be. We know it's going to be a Master Chief-centric story again, thankfully. And I think it's going to be a mainline game. I don't think this is going to be a side game. I think this is actually going to be Halo 6. They're just not using the numbers anymore. So, guys, what do you think?
Steven?
I'm excited. I don't know when to be excited. Though, like 4, because we don't have a release date. But the world looked awesome, and I didn't expect Halo. And then they showed the helmet, like you were saying, Tyler, and then it was just like, oh my gosh, type of scenario. I think this isn't going to come out on the Xbox One. That's my guess. I think you're with me here on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually don't think they've developed it that far, because there did seem to be a little graphical difference between like the world they showed and then when they got to like the warthog driving over the environment that looked a little less beautiful. So I think this game's a ways off, but I know the reason it's number one is because you're so into Halo, Tyler.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, in terms of what got me really excited, that was right there at the top. So, and, you know, your guys' number ones are probably more so for me, but you guys are talking about them, and that's why we did mine first. So, Graham, let's go to your number one.
Why, I can't talk about Halo Infinite?
Yes, you can. I'm sorry,
you don't care about my opinion on Halo Infinite?
Yes,
No,
I do want to hear.
I have no opinion.
Okay.
Move on. No. I know Tyler's a huge Halo fan, and when that was announced, I'm like, Tyler's excited right now.
Yep.
But I'm not a huge Halo fan. I worked the way through the trilogy with Tyler, which was great. I loved the story, hated the Flood. Story was great, though. Some of the battles were pretty tedious. When we played the first one, oh my God, we must have wandered for 2 hours in the wrong direction. We were like, where do we go? What do we do? So it was good to see how like the game evolved and fixed their mistakes, because there was definitely some mistakes at the beginning, but it did improve vastly. And then up to Halo 5, you guys got me in on that one, and I love the online multiplayer. We never finished the story. I don't even know how far we got into the story. Maybe not much at all. But like the shooting mechanics was great. The game modes online was awesome. It might be one of the best shooters I played online. I prefer Battlefield, that style, but for that style, I would probably choose Halo over all the other pop ones like Call of Duty and the whatnot. So no, the game was great. Like I said, I'm not going to get too excited for it because I agree with these other two, thinking that it's going to be on the next gen console, whatever it's going to be called. And that's why I think they didn't show as much, because they didn't really have that much, and the engine that the game is being designed to run on, or system, is better than what we currently have. So yeah, definitely excited. That was a great bombshell to drop for the E3, because people have been wanting this, and they gave them what they want, even if it's just a little tidbit. They kind of did that with, well, they did a little more, but kind of how Nintendo did it with like Metroid. It's like, boom, Metroid. Everyone's like, wow, Metroid. But like, but we have nothing to really show you, because it's just an idea, and we know we're going to get you excited. So, hey, Sony does it. Why can't Microsoft do it? So I think that was a great thing to do. And like I said, Tyler's excited. He might even go back and play the other Halo games now.
I might. Well, Graham, we got to finish 4, and then we got to do 5, story-wise. And you've liked Halo 5 multiplayer quite a bit.
Yes.
But I think what made this stand out, for me at least, was that it kicked off the conference and it set the tone, and it got people excited in that auditorium right away. And then Microsoft just kind of killed it from then on in. Not killed the enthusiasm, but like they were great. So, and we'll talk about that once we're through our top 5s. But Graham, I want to go back to you. What's your number one?
Well, if I had to say, if you could make a guess, because there's no Zelda game, and I've already talked about Tomb Raider, what would you think? That's not a
Death
tough...
Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not Death Stranding. We're not going to go into my thoughts on Death Stranding, because I don't want to get people angry at me more than they probably already are. But mine is, I'm not sure how excited I am for this game. I'm more curious and excited at this moment, but I do have faith in the developer. The game obviously is Fallout 76, which was, one of my predictions was they're going to announce it and they're going to say, well, it's coming this fall, because the big Fallout 4, that was like, people talked about it forever. It's like, that's the way to do it. So they're like, okay, we're going to do this. But they're like, but this game is online only. And then people are like, oh, no, this is going to be terrible. And I watched some YouTube videos where people are kind of clarify their concerns, because they thought it's going to be this and that, and they're going to be trolled, and it's going to suck. But then Bethesda's like, no, we're going to do things so people can't troll you and kill you over and over. And then there's other things where people are like, oh, this, like, I don't like this aspect, but then people thought, like, okay, that could work and stuff like that. So even like Bethesda, they know what they're doing is not what people were expecting, and they really don't know how it's going to work, but they're like, we're we don't like taking the easy approach. Like we put out like a Fallout 5, like just like a Fallout 4, just add a little more to it and stuff like that. But they're like, we're going to be a little riskier. We're going to just take a chance because being safe is more exciting, which I respect. And the fact that you're a huge developer as Bethesda and you can do whatever the hell you want and pretty much it will sell and all that stuff. Like when we knew Fallout 76, people were like, I'm buying it. Had no idea what it is. So I'm really curious how people are, what they're thinking. If people are like, okay, maybe I'll give this a chance. But the fact that the map is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, and they're saying there's going to be like 24 to like 32 people in this whole map, like that is pretty sparse. So I think they're going to do it right. And the fact is they're like, go play this game, break it, destroy it, whatever, we'll fix it. They're like, we're kind of part of like the creation of this game, which I'm all on board. I pre-ordered the Power Armor Edition because if you pre-order the game, you will get the beta. Don't know when it is, but I encourage everyone to participate in it, and hopefully we can have a big enough community where we can have 24 of our people or whatever. So if you guys are interested, let us know, and definitely get in on that beta and let us know, and we should get something together. Now I want to know your guys' theory. You heard you got me go off on it.
Yeah, Graham going like forever. Steve, go ahead.
Well, like I'm curious how this game is gonna work. To be honest, like if you co-op together, are the enemies gonna get harder? But if it's an online world, like I want to know where the difficulty is going to be, because if we're playing as 4, like death claws are probably going to be a little easier than they would if you're by yourself. So I wonder if there's be certain areas that are like recommended to do in co-op, or how that's going to work. There's a lot to speculate about, and I don't want to speculate too much, because that'd be bad. But I'm excited. I actually don't think, based on the size of the map and how many players are actually going to be in, we're going to run into too many cases of griefing. And the way the nukes are, I don't think they're going to be going off all the time based on what I've heard. No. So I'm excited. I will be buying this game. I want to play the beta. I love the Fallout world, not as much as Graham. I'm a bigger Elder Scrolls fan. But I'm excited to see what they do here. And I really am hesitantly optimistic about this game.
At least I'm glad you're optimistic.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. Graham, the more I see on this game and read on this game, the more I think I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
So there's a great documentary out there, everybody, by NoClip on the making of Fallout 76. And they had exclusive access, like, before the game was even announced. Mm-hmm. And it's fantastic. Yeah, it's great. So it's on YouTube. Go look them up and watch it. And then Bethesda said stuff throughout the week, too, about how they're going to kind of combat what was my biggest concern, which is sort of the griefing aspect of these types of games. And it remains to be seen, like, if what they do is something that people find a way around and still do it, because there's just some people that they love, the fun for them is making it terrible for everyone else. And that's unfortunate. And that's why I'm hoping that our community will get a lot of people to come in and play. I think we will. But the more I see about it, the cooler I think it's going to be. And the nukes thing, like, everybody's worried about that as kind of a way to ruin the experience for people. That, to me, seems like the end game.
It is. It is the end game.
Yeah, that's the end game. That's the hardest part. Like, it is a difficult process, and it's not easy to do. Mm-hmm. So I think that is going to be something where it's pretty rare, especially early on.
Yeah, and that adds a different perspective to the game, too, because after you nuke an area, like, you don't even have to nuke a populated area. You nuke an area, then that's kind of like, adds a new level to the game. Like, it's more difficult. It's radiation in there, so you can't stay in there for long. Mm-hmm. The enemies will be way more tough, and the loot will be, like, bigger reward system. Which, speaking of loot, too, because people are like, oh, you died, like, you're going to lose all your loot, and you put all this effort. That's not the case. Whatever you get, you keep. So people can't, like, it really gives people less reason to, like, go out and troll and kill you because they don't really benefit anything. It's not like, oh, you're dead. That's all they get from it.
But they're still going to try to.
Oh, yeah, they will. They will. So, but it's less incentive, though, right? It's not like, not like when we play Sea of Thieves and we get all these, like, skulls and these nice treasures, and then people come up and sink our ship and kill us. and take our stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I have faith, and this is Bethesda, right? Like, I have faith in them, and this is a risk, and I'm willing to take it with them.
Yeah, it's just the first time they've ever really done something like this, so there's going to be some growing pains involved. Even though it is Bethesda, there still will be. I'm just hoping they continue to learn from it and support it like they say they're going to, and I have no reason to think they won't. So
yeah, and they brought in like a new company too, like a new branch rather from Austin, Texas, and some of those people have specialized in online games. I forget the names games they've worked with, but there's some big names for sure.
Okay. So, Steve, your number one, which I think is NBA Live 19.
Yes, absolutely. So excited for this game. Hoping to go the NBA Ballers route. No. My number one was also, I think, one of the coolest moments of E3.
Yes.
Graham was like, Bethesda did it first. I remember him saying that, but who cares what he thinks? Because, Phil Spencer was out on stage, and it seemed like the end of the conference, and then glitch, screen went to red, and then they were like, it was like they were hacking in, and then they showed Cyberpunk 2077 as the trailer, and I'm like, hype levels through the roof. The trailer didn't really show all that much gameplay-wise. The gameplay demo was kind of locked behind the scenes, but what part of the reason that I got like even more hyped was on Twitter. We follow Paris, and he was so high on this game. If you listened to the interview last week, or it was last week,
episode 100.
Yep. And he was so high, he was super excited to do the meeting with them. And then he comes out of it and like just jumping and yelling and screaming like little like giddy person, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. I'm excited because he's excited, and I trust him.
Yeah.
And that was a great interview we had with him. Again, thanks to Paris for coming on. But I'm just so pumped for this game. Just so pumped. And I really want to know when we're going to get it, because they didn't show it. I'm hoping it's a case where they're like, hey, the game's ready and it'll be out in 2 months, as opposed to like, hey, you have to wait a year and a half. Because I much prefer not knowing when we're getting it and then getting it, rather than knowing we're getting it 18 months down the line.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Steve, I agree as well on just kind of the trailer. It was an awesome moment. And beyond that, like the code that they showed in there was actually Microsoft codes for The Witcher 3, which is awesome.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of a cool moment in there too, that, Easter egg that fans went out and found. And by the way, one of the games we didn't talk about here, honorable mention, Death Stranding. Honorable mention also for me to The Division 2, which I thought showed off pretty well. But like the Easter egg in Death Stranding was pretty cool too. But yeah, the more we saw coming out of like the demo, hearing from people who were in there, it just makes me look forward to this game so much. And I retweeted it on our Twitter account, so if you head over at TXH Gaming Hub, you'll see Paris Lilly from Gamertag Radio like coming out, and this is like a grown man, like totally looking like a little kid, just so excited and happy after seeing this, and like that sells me, because now I'm like, this game's probably something amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. So I'm with Steve. Like, I don't want them to come out next year and be like, it's coming out late 2020. I'll just be like, no. I'd rather them just show it, say we got a release date, and have it just be a few months away. Graham?
Yeah, no, you guys have pretty much covered. I am so excited. You guys were talking about Paris. You got to go back there, and on their podcast they were talking about, and they were just gushing over how amazing it is, how they would have paid money to play it for the 50 minutes. I guess that's how long the demo was. And he was just describing how much detail that they put into this game, and like all the decisions and basically they're just going on and on and on and on. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe how much they are just going crazy about how good this game is and how excited they are for it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give another shout out to the No Clip episodes. They did one on, I think it was on Cyberpunk. Maybe it was I think it was Witcher, but they were talking about Cyberpunk, which such a great company. How they started out it's an amazing story. Definitely another one I would recommend you guys checking out. Well worth it. But yeah, and just for this to be such a small company, like I obviously they're getting bigger, and especially as they're putting out these amazing games. But as far as developers go, like I think these guys are up there with the top three. Like these guys are like pushing it. Like I'd almost put them up with like Bethesda because they're coming at us really strong with some great games.
Graham, I think the trinity right now of developers that's like everybody trusts implicitly are Bethesda, Rockstar, and CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, so like to be put in that upper echelon, like that is awesome. So, like I was talking to the guys the other day, like I pre-ordered The Witcher 3 with the season pass, and I have no idea. I wish I could go back in time and see what got me to do it. But I was all in on The Witcher 3. It was probably one of the biggest risks I've taken on like spending this much money and having no idea what I was getting. And I was not disappointed for a second. The Witcher 3, definitely one of the best games I ever played. Like the story, the characters. So the fact that this is CD Projekt Red and they're doing something different, which instead of like being medieval, it's like more current. And like I said, yeah, I've heard nothing but awesome things about this game, and I'm so excited. And I'm not going to say I want it to come out next year, because whatever time they need to take it. Because I'm going to have Fallout 76, and if they're going to be supporting that for years and years, I would like to play that game maybe for years and years. So I'm okay with them taking as much time as they want, but I'm definitely excited for it. I can't wait for more information, and they seem like they're a company that they're just going to keep leaking tidbits until they release it. So I'm so excited. Can't wait.
Okay.
Bring it on.
All right. Well, that wraps up our top fives from E3, and it was a great week, and there's some great games we didn't even mention. So,
yes,
if you disagree, you think we should have included something in, hey, feel free to let us know. Head on over to Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums, Twitter at TXH Gaming Hub, Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub there. You can go to YouTube, the Gaming Hub podcast on YouTube as well, and let us know what you think. Or head on over to our Discord and let us know what you think. Let us know if you think we missed anything. There were some other great games we just didn't talk about. Ghost of Tsushima, Gears of War 5, things like that. So, lots of other stuff.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, and Death Stranding, which I did say honorable mention.
You did.
So, yeah. We just don't know what it is yet. But good transition, because we're going to stick with Sony. And we kind of want to move into the rest of the news that kind of came out over the course of the week. And we got two things to talk about. So first one is Sony. And man, I think they really dropped the ball here, guys. With Fortnite. And this is not a cross-play thing. So for those of you who haven't heard, Fortnite got announced for Nintendo Switch. And there is cross-play between Microsoft and Nintendo. But not only is there not cross-play between Sony, Microsoft, etc., your account for Fortnite on PS4 is locked to that console. You cannot take it and just take your character and everything that you have done with that character into Switch, like you can going back and forth from Switch to Xbox. Or I think mobile too, right? Yeah. So, what do you guys think on this? I'll tell you, the statement Sony put out was just like PR fluff. Mm-hmm. And it was honestly, I love PlayStation, but it was pretty sad. What do you guys think?
Sony deserves every ounce of flack they're getting for this. That is ridiculous. I don't care that they don't want crossplay. That's fine. They are allowed that if they think that's best for their security reason or whatever have you. But the whole locking Epic account so your progress doesn't transfer over is ridiculous. That's so anti-consumer. I'm not for it. And no one should be. No one should be okay with this.
Graham?
Yeah, no, I did read the statement that PlayStation issued, and it just did not warrant anything. Like, they pretty much just said, well, we sold this many consoles, we do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, it's basically like, really? Patting themselves on the back. And
yeah.
And they did, like, the impossible, Graham, which was, like, piss off their own fan base.
Yeah, I noticed.
So
yeah,
Sony
no,
fans are usually like all about the PlayStation, right? And even when they kind of have a misstep, they'll sort of defend it. And kudos to them because they're that passionate about that console. But man, they had Sony people turn on them this week, and so yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
No, I was to say, but it was good to see that actually Sony fans to actually speak up and say, what's with this? Like, I understand how you don't want to do cross. Well, I don't really understand, but yes, I get you don't want to do crossplay for your reasons. I'm doing quotations here, but to lock an account from a company for a game, like this game's been doing really well across all platforms, and you're just hurting yourself right now from being like, I don't know if you're being greedy or you're just, I don't know what your excuse is, but it's not a good excuse. And your fans deserve to be able to play this game any way they choose. So the fact that you're doing that, yeah, it's not good. Like I said, kudos for the fans to let them voice their opinion that they're not happy. And I even heard that PlayStation, which it's not going to matter much, but their stock did take a little bit of a hit. Like, obviously, it's nothing major and stuff like that. But I'm hoping this is going to be at least a wake-up call. Because they keep preaching like, oh, we want to give our fans the options and choice, and we're all for the gamers. Bull crap, you're for the gamers. If you're for the gamers, okay, like I said, I get the crossplay. Don't lock the account. Like, why are you being that way? That's like being juvenile. It's like, no, well, you can't have this if you're going to do that. It's like, no, give us a break. We don't need that.
Well, it all comes down to, no, we want you to play it here. And, in fact, we're going to kind of try to make you play it here because we want you to spend more money here. I mean, let's be honest about that. This isn't about anything other than money. So, I don't get it because Sony, you've already won this generation and you've won it handily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you have to gain by this? Like, you could come out as, like, the hero here by saying, yeah, well, of course we're going to allow that. Because you're the one who really doesn't have to. But there's precedent for this. I mean, there's things that have happened in the past that, you know, like the EA Access thing and stuff like that, where they keep harping on, you know, we're all about giving gamers choice. Well, no, you're not, because you're not giving them that choice. And you're not giving them this option either. So, really, are you? Or is it just something that sounds good on stage?
Mm-hmm.
And I love PlayStation. It hurts me to see them do this stuff because there's no reason. Really, other than money.
Yep.
So, Steve, anything else?
No, this isn't going to help them going into the next console cycle, I can tell you that much, by doing this stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And now, you know, I can see them reversing this. I don't think they will, but I can see them doing it. And they'll come out and be like, you know, our community's so important to us and we heard you. You know, BS.
Yeah. You didn't hear us before?
No. And the only reason they'll do it now is because they don't want to have PR damage.
Yeah, and their stock drops. So if that continues to drop, then they'll change course because, you know, money hitting them in the wallet is where the biggest, like, the loudest voices are heard, I guess, or something like that.
Something like that.
Sure. You got what I meant.
Yeah,
fill in your own words.
So,
you knew where I was going.
Other story I want to talk about, guys, is that during the Microsoft conference, Phil Spencer said something in passing that kind of got life of its own and took off throughout the week. And that's that they are, you know, I think the words were deep into the development of the next Xbox console.
Yes. So,
we've learned since that it's called Project Scarlet. So I can't even imagine how many times I'm going to mess that up and say Scorpio. Because they sound so similar. But Project Scarlet is rumored to be scheduled for release in 2020, which, by the way, is when we kind of heard that PlayStation 5 might release. Is it the right time for a new console in 2020? What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, I guess. There's no real good way to answer this because, like, with Xbox, man, I'm a little upset I bought an Xbox One at all because there was no exclusives on this system, really. Okay, there's none, but there was hardly any really good ones. So that's a little annoying. PlayStation had some great ones throughout the years, but I think Xbox is kind of shifting focus away from their Xbox One and are focusing on games, and those games are going to be developed for this Xbox 2 or 720 or the Xbox 6, because as Tyler said, it's one better than PS5. And that joke always makes me chuckle.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I do think that 2020 is probably about the time that all these games are going to be ready, and they're all going to be launch titles for their prospective consoles, including one of those Bethesda titles might see a launch title for both of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
It's 7 years. That's pretty good length of a cycle for a console. The last gen was, if you're talking 360, that was 8 years, because it came out in 2005. So it's about right. And I think the advances are there now. And they talked about having a multitude of devices, ways to play. So they showed mobile on the screen, like where you can stream games directly to like your phone or tablet or whatever. I'm interested to see how that works. Do you think, though, Graham, that they're going to come out with some sort of handheld to sort of take advantage, because it's a copycat industry, to sort of do what Switch has done?
Now, I don't know if they'll per se do a handheld, or they'll just make it so if you have like the latest tablet, like I guess Microsoft tablet, because they'll probably push it towards Microsoft, that you can kind of use that like a Switch. But then it's all touchscreen, so I don't know if that's a good idea. So I don't know. Like, they have a lot of options, different directions they can go. We could speculate. Like, we think VR is going to be available on this system.
Well, no, we know it's not.
Not on the Project Scarlet?
They said they have absolutely no plans to bring VR to consoles. They said they feel that that's better for PC gaming and Windows 10.
Okay.
So they said that this week.
In light of that, then I guess they're not going in that direction.
No.
But if nobody's blind to the success of the Nintendo Switch, so even like people like, well, you only got these games and stuff like that, it's not enough. But then they're like, wow, they got this game, they got this game, they got this game. I can play this game now. I can play Fortnite on the road or whatever. So they're probably realizing like people are liking this option. So it's like maybe we need to do something now to give them that option, because now before Nintendo was like they step over them to fight the other person like Microsoft and PlayStation, but now it's like Nintendo's like, well, not so fast now. Like, look at our numbers, we're actually something. So I don't know. Like, that could be a way they'll go. Because they're talking about all devices, right? So maybe there even be like a peripheral, kind of like the Switch, but it like kind of like communicates, or you can like download game that has like an operating system, but it's not like strictly by itself. So I don't know. There's definitely directions for it to go. And as far as some of the games that we've mentioned earlier, like I could almost guarantee that those are next gen games. Because the fact that we have no idea when they're coming out, they're super early in the development cycle, and some of them are Microsoft exclusive, so it seems like they would attach their name with Microsoft for a new console. And also with the PlayStation, we saw some Sony exclusives that we really know nothing about. We don't know what the hell the game is about. I'm not saying what the game is, but those types of games, I would say, will be on next-gen consoles, PS5, Project Scarlet, whatever it's gonna be called. So yeah, and 2020, that's a lot of time. I don't really regret buying the One X. Like, if I was still using the One S, I probably would be just perfectly fine with that. But you know me, I need the new latest and greatest and all that stuff. But I do appreciate the native 4K and the HDR, and I really don't have much of a comparison. Like, if I could do a side-by-side with the One S, maybe I'd notice difference. But separately, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Steve, what do you think? Do you think they'll do anything like a specific handheld device?
Yeah, and I think it's possible. I was also thinking on that, like, sort of topic, what are the chances because Xbox has been going to where, you can buy the game on the Xbox or the PC and play it on whatever, like, the cross-play, and you get it on Xbox Play Anywhere title. That's what I mean. What are the chances they create, like, a Steam Link device that instead of having to buy a full, like, console for whatever, $400, $500, you buy the streaming device and you play games from your, like, you play it off your PC, basically exactly like the Steam Link, but you play it on your TV in 4K or whatever, and it's exactly like a console except it uses your PC. Do you think that's a possibility with how they've been developing their, like, Play Anywhere stuff?
Maybe. I think it's going to be a little dangerous to go away from just what we're used to with the actual console.
No, I was saying instead of. Like, I mean, not instead of, but as an option.
Sure.
So there is the console, but if you already have a really good, like, gaming PC like I do, you could buy, like, the Steam Link device, and then I still play all the Xbox games, except now you're streaming it to your TV, and so it plays like a console without the console part.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I think them, giving more options to players and ways to play, I think that's good. And they need to do that in order to really make a difference next gen. I think Microsoft's the more likely one to take those chances between the two. I think Sony will get a PlayStation 5 console.
I agree with that. That's why I was just asking Microsoft specific, just because they already have the Play Anywhere stuff. It just seems like the next logical step.
I would rather, honestly, than stream to my phone or something like that, because I'm still not that confident that streaming is going to, not lag on me and stuff like that when playing a game. I'd almost rather have a designated, like, Xbox handheld that I can tie to my account and download games onto the hard drive of it. As long as I own the game, I can have it there too, and just be able to play on the go if I choose to do that.
So a lot like remote play with PS Vita. That's exactly what that sounds like.
But it works.
Yeah, well, that's true. Do you think we'll see a PS Vita 2 or something like that?
Oh, man, they're going to have to change the way they have to support the damn thing.
Well, that's true.
Because they haven't talked about Vita at all in, like, 2 years. Really. And they've pretty much just given up on it. But that leads me, though, next-gen consoles, guys. First of all, Sony. Will Sony have backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5, do you think? And this is all speculation, but just a guess.
I think they need to. If I had to speculate, like, I'd almost say no, because they're just not learning their lesson. But I really hope I'm wrong, and it's yes. It should be yes. But I'm gonna say they're gonna be naive and no.
I'm gonna go with no as well. I think they try to kick PS Now up a notch and, like, make that their way of backwards compatibility, but full on backwards compatibility, I think's a no. And I think Xbox will win because I imagine they're gonna make it so that any, like, digital stuff you've bought on the Xbox One or the 360 or even the original Xbox is playable on this next one. That's my guess.
I 100% agree.
Yeah,
I think I think Xbox has the potential. They could mess it up. They did it with the Xbox One, but I think the way they're heading, they're gonna start the next generation a lot stronger than PlayStation. But if PlayStation comes out with backwards compatibility and then on top of all their great games, I mean, it's gonna be close. It'll be much closer to the next gen than this one. And I think backwards compatibility is kind of a key aspect of that.
Yeah, I don't see Sony doing backwards compatibility. If they do, it'll be a big departure for them. Because, like you said, Steve, I think they're all in on the PlayStation Now service.
Yeah.
Like, they're pushing that. That's really, I think, my belief, that's the reason that EA Access never went to PS4. Is because they want you to do PlayStation Now. But I don't see them doing it. I think Xbox absolutely will. Because it's been so popular, and it's an easy way to get people to just take their Xbox One games and be able to play them on the new system. So, last question on this, Graham. You kind of alluded to it earlier. Will you feel a little cheated if some of these games that they've talked about at E3 now for the last 2 years, 3 years, you find out you can only play them on the next-gen console?
Yes, I would. And, like, Ghost of Tsushima looks amazing. Death Stranding, I'm I'm fed up with that game. That would not make me buy a PS6. And
You mean 5? We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yes, 6. I'm skipping generations.
Well, it
here.
might come
Well,
out on the
it's not-
6. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at PS5 on the screen, and I'm adding a 1 because I'm like, okay, it's one higher than one's out now. So yeah, it might come out on the PS6. You're right.
One
But
fast
I-
Sony.
Honestly, I don't want to buy a PS5 to play games that there's no reason for me to not be able to play it on the PS4. Personally.
Yeah, I'm with you, Graham. I'm gonna be pretty annoyed if Death Stranding is a PS5 exclusive, like not playable on the PS4. I'd imagine Last of Us 2 kind of goes the Last of Us 1 route and is like the last game. We've said it before, the last game on PS4 and then comes to PS5. But I'm gonna be a little annoyed with Death Stranding if it doesn't come to PS4 because, well, they announced it like what 3 years ago now. And if it's like we
this is
kind
the
of
third year we've seen it at E3,
we expected it on the PS4, and I think that's gonna make some PlayStation fans a little unhappy.
Yeah, I agree. And then,
Yeah,
one more quick question on the Microsoft side. Would you be devastated if they took away game sharing on the next gen Xbox?
devastated, no. Annoyed, a little. I mean, like on one mindset, I understand why they would do it. On the other hand, it's like it does save me a couple, $100 a month or a year, and I get to play some more games. So I don't know how much it builds. It gives them like, brownie points with their consumer base. While at the same time, probably not costing them all that much money because either people aren't going to buy the games that they're game sharing for, or they're going to skip some games because they can only afford so much. So I don't know how much game sharing actually hurts their bottom line. And so I could see it come back just as like what's it called? Like an olive branch or a thing of goodwill or whatever to their player base.
Yeah, I personally don't see it going away. I'd be a little bummed if it did, but I don't see it going anywhere because how many people actually use it? I would bet there's a good number of console owners that don't even know it's a thing.
Yep.
So, because most console players aren't like the people that are listening to our show right now. They don't take the extra step to go read all the stuff and listen to podcasts and do things like that. Most of them just, get a console and like to play games. And that's cool. And I think a lot of people that use it for like their family. You might have 2 kids and have them game share with each other. That way they can each have their own account but still play all the same games. You don't have to buy games twice.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it will go away either, is for that exact reason, because it will make family people a little unhappy. Yeah. PlayStation has game share as well. Do you think it stays with PlayStation?
I do. I think it will.
I think if Microsoft does it, PlayStation almost kind of has to do it. And
that they've never kind of held to that before, though.
That's true, but I feel like they had the benefit with going into this generation because of how badly Microsoft messed up with the Xbox One reveal.
Oh yeah.
So PlayStation just had to come out and be like, no DRM, and then they won. And
this is how you share games on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and so this time I do feel like whether or not they know it, it's going to be a lot closer than they think. Yes, they'll still win Japan because Japan never doesn't buy Xboxes.
No.
But the rest of the world, it's going to be close. I have a feeling. And so I think PlayStation will hurt themselves if they don't kind of keep in line with what Xbox does.
Yeah.
If Xbox does all the things we're speculating them to.
And really, for Microsoft, they just have to do a better job with their messaging early, and they're starting it. They started their messaging for the next generation last Sunday.
Yeah, and that's why we're talking about it right now.
Yeah. Like, there's no doubt. Once they said this next console is being developed, everything they did in that conference just made that much more sense.
Yep, all those independent studios they bought, that makes a ton of sense when you consider that there might be a new Xbox. Because I have a feeling Xbox could come out with like 8 like launch titles or launch window titles, based on how many studios they have.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be the weak launch window that Xbox One and PlayStation 4 had. There'll be games. That's personal speculation. You can get mad at me if you want. That's fine. But it's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. But I think you guys agree with me here.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they started making the argument for next generation already. They started selling next generation already. And they're going to be in front of the messaging this time. And it's going to be about games. And it's not going to be about TV and Connect and stuff like that. So they're going to have it under control. And I think it's going to be a much, much more competitive generation next time around. So anything else, Graham, before we move on?
No, I think you guys hit all aspects there.
All right. Well, let's move into releases then. And we'll hit Xbox first. So we've got Rocket League Jurassic World Card Pack coming on the 18th. You can get Grab the Bottle on the 20th and Battle Knights on the 22nd. So, and Games with Gold, you can still get Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia and on the 360 Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed through the end of June. Steve, what do you got for PlayStation?
Yeah, you can get The Lost Child on the 19th and New Gundam Breaker on the 22nd. And then for PS Plus games, you can get Trials Fusion and XCOM 2. Graham with Nintendo.
For me, you could pick up The Lost Child as well. That will be available June 19th. Then we have Drawful 2. That will be June 21st. And to end things off with a great game would be Mario Tennis Aces, which will be released on June the 22nd for the Nintendo Switch.
All right. Steve, what questions do we have from our community this week?
All right, first one is from Adam. He asked, what game were you looking forward to that was not shown at E3?
I'll quickly answer that one. I'm going to go with Metroid Prime, the new Metro game that will be on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a few, but I guess I'll go with Splinter Cell. I was hoping to see a new Splinter Cell game, or Fable. Those are my top two.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to see Red Dead Redemption 2. I wanted to see a little bit of it, and we didn't see anything. And that's kind of normal for Rockstar. But I was hoping we'd see a little bit on the Sony stage, maybe during, the intermission or something. But we didn't. So that would be mine.
All right. Evan asked, what does Microsoft need to do over the next couple of years to pull even in the next generation of console sales? And I think we all kind of touched upon this not that long ago during our Xbox 2 talk. But just a lot of games, a lot of consumer-friendly stuff. Just keep kind of hitting that drum because Sony seems to miss it. So they're kind of doing the opposite of what 2013 was. And so I think they're kind of doing what they need to do to catch up. Tyler?
They need to do what they started doing last Sunday and just continue that over the next couple of years. And where they lost this generation was in the messaging. They lost this before the consoles ever came out. So they just need to do a better job on the front side, and I think they will. I think they have a better direction, a better vision, and they're much more focused this time around.
Yeah, if they stick to what they're doing, their plans that they got laid out and all that stuff, then I think they should, stick with it. They announced now they have five more companies where games will be coming from. So I think they're doing the right thing, and they just got to stick to it and not make any missteps.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jonathan asked, what are the best things shown that we can play this year?
I don't know. I like Assassin's Creed a lot. I'm pretty excited about that. And Smash Bros. Ultimate, and then probably Shadow. What do you guys think?
Well, mine, Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah. Forgot about that.
I'm going to say Fallout. Oh, sorry. You're not done, Steven?
Well, or Smash. Spider-Man or Smash.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Fallout 76. Cross my fingers that it's amazing. And, yeah, I think Smash Brothers. Jump in on that game. That game looks so fun.
All right.
Yeah. All right. James asked, what was your guys' standout game of E3?
Oh, it has to be Cyberpunk. Like, that game just looks amazing. It looks like it's, whatever year it comes out, it's going to win Game of the Year. So, that's fine.
Kingdom Hearts. No, that's my fanboy talking. It was Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk looks amazing. I'm super, 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 super hyped for it. Graham?
Well, I'm definitely excited for Cyberpunk, but I don't think they showed me enough to be like, whoa. So I'm going to go with Ghost of Tsushima. What I saw that game really stood out. I really like what I saw.
That surprises me, to be honest, a little bit from you, Graham.
Graham, it's like what you're most excited about, but you're like, it didn't make any of your top 5.
I'm complicated.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. JCM11121 on YouTube asks, what do you guys think about Anthem in terms of how it will stack up against Destiny, and will there be a beta?
Funny thing is, we didn't even mention Anthem at all.
No, we haven't.
Not even honorable mention.
And this game got so much hype and steam coming out of E3 last year. And it's almost like an afterthought right now, coming out of this year's E3. Because there's so much other stuff.
Yeah, and we don't know enough about it to, like, hype it up. Whereas, like, even with the Division 2, we can kind of compare and we can see the differences between this one and the first one, that it's actually getting us, like, hyped for it. Yeah. And that's, I think, part of the reason we're not all in on Anthem.
Yeah. But remember, when we watched the gameplay as part of the EA show, like, we were pretty impressed with that.
Yes.
We thought it looked pretty good, looked like a lot of fun. My question with Anthem still is, like, how are they going to balance, just the type of game that it is, just being always online and all that type of thing? Are they going to learn some hard lessons like Destiny did and Division did? And, are players going to stick with it through that? That's what I'm interested to see.
Yeah, to me, it feels like it's more like a story-driven game than, like, Destiny was. So I'm curious what the end game is going to be like, or if that even matters. If it's like a good 45-hour campaign that you can play fully co-op and that's a fun experience, then that's fine. It doesn't need to have, like, raids like Destiny did or raids like the Division 2 is going to have. I'm okay with an awesome 40-hour, experience, or even 30 hours if the campaign's good enough. And yeah, I think it will have a beta. In fact, I think we signed up for it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be a beta. I'm excited for this game. I really, really don't like the comparisons to Destiny, which just because Destiny, it just puts a bitter taste in my mouth, and I just would like for it to be not compared to, which is probably going to be next to impossible. But I think this is going to be a far better game. I'm way more excited for this game than I ever was for Destiny, even though, because I don't even think I was excited. You guys, you got to be excited because you're playing it. But no, I'm definitely excited for it. The Javelin suits looks awesome. The 4 different types of Javelin suits you can get and classes. And the fact that I'm going to make kind of comparison too. It's kind of like Destiny like the Division, where you, like, team up with people and you complete objectives and get loot, and then you come back and then you're kind of like a single player. So I'm just curious how that's going to work out, but I'm excited for this game. I'll get this game.
Okay.
All right. And I think in honor of, like, Fallout 76, Blake asks, like, what's your idea of a perfect online game? Or, Anthem and Division 2. All those games are online. Are either of them your perfect online game? Or do you have a new idea?
No, neither of those are my perfect online game. Man, I don't know. I'm hoping Fallout will be it. Like, Destiny 2 early on was a lot of fun. And I had a good time with that. But I also had a good time with Division early on, and then it just wasn't fun anymore. So, man, cop-out answer, but I don't know yet because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think Skull and Bones could be what my perfect online game is. But I am with you. I haven't fully seen it. I assume he's talking like online world, like World of Warcraft, or always online type of game, as opposed to like when multiplayer is online.
Yeah.
But I think Skull and Bones could potentially be it. But Fallout 76 could as well, with, a lot of it in single player, but then you also might run into people online. and yeah, they might troll you, but if it doesn't happen all that often and it's enough to be kind of fun, that's an interesting thing. I'm hesitantly excited for the game and to see what comes of it.
Yeah, for me, it's like I don't know what would be the perfect game. I'm hoping Fallout 76 is. I'm definitely more invested into that game. Like, I know a lot of the lore. I don't know all the lore. I'm not hardcore like some people. Pretty hardcore. But I'm definitely excited to get into that world and just see how it works as online. And hopefully I can find some great companions that we can like build together and they're not just trying to kill me and I die repeatedly. Well, they say they're not going to do that. But no, definitely, I don't know what the perfect one is, but I'm guessing Fallout 76 will be the closest to that for me. It might not be the best online experience that I will ever have, but it will be a good start. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
All right.
Spencer asks, has Nintendo come back to form in year 2 of the Switch?
Yeah, I don't know that they ever kind of lost form this generation. I mean, I think since the Switch came out, they've kind of been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I think they like I don't want to speculate, but I think they mean like after like the Wii U debacle and all that stuff. Is it by like 2 years the end of the Switch? Are they back to where they were?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. After Mario, there hasn't been anything I really like wanted to play until next week with Mario Aces. But you know, this E3 conference did have me hyped for the coming year. I'm really excited for a few games coming out on the Switch. First party games too, like Mario Party, Smash Bros, and then Fire Emblem. So yeah, I think Nintendo has some high, or they're still staying on that high they had even after year 1 of the Switch. So yeah, I do think they're back to where they were before the Wii U, and even arguably before the Wii, because the Wii, while it sold a lot, didn't have a lot of amazing titles on it.
All right.
Yeah, no, I really do think they're back to form now. I know that the Wii U was definitely a road bump or speed bump on their way, but I think they've more than made up for it. And you know, they have a bright future. They've been doing all the things right, even things that people have wanted and they haven't gotten. They've been getting supplements. They're like, oh, I'm okay with that now. And they've been just going back to the older franchises that people have been wanting forever, like Metroid, for example. So yeah, no, they're as strong as ever right now. So go Nintendo.
All
right. Brittany asks, what console would you recommend for a person new to gaming to purchase based solely on this year's E3?
Graham, brace yourself.
I'm bracing.
Nintendo Switch.
What?
Yeah, and well, here's why. Because Sony showed off their big 4. They all look amazing, but we don't know when 3 of them are coming out. No idea. And I don't want to tell somebody to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro just to play Spider-Man. Xbox started making their case for next generation already. You know, all we're getting this year that we know of is what Forza Horizon 4, and we're getting Ori next year. And then it's going to be third-party support, and they're relying on like Game Pass and those type of service type things to kind of continue the life of the Xbox One until we get to whatever the next one is. Switch showed off a lot of stuff that you can play this year, including now Fortnite heading to that system. Probably the most popular game out there right now. So I would have to say that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Switch. And that's only because the way this E3 made me feel was that the next generation of consoles is coming out really, really soon, or like a year and a half. But that's still or 2 years, 2.5 years. Yeah, because it'll be holiday of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nintendo Switch has a lot of great stuff coming out in the next year, and arguably even in the future from that. And it's a great system to like kind of tide you over for the next generation. Now, if you're really wanting like 4K games, that's a tough one between Microsoft and Sony. I lean Sony just because Spider-Man looks awesome, but I don't know. that if you really want like a system to play 4K games, and you're basing it off of this E3's conference only, I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a lot coming out in the next year from either of them.
No.
Really shown this E3.
Not exclusive wise, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be different from you guys. I'm gonna say the PS Vita. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with these guys. They definitely, the fact that they hit those major points, there's no point for me to point those out. So it seems like Switch is doing things right, and you guys agree. So yeah, and it's not as big an investment either. So if it's something where you're not going, because you're going to be like new to gaming, so maybe you're not going to be that hardcore. So then you're not making as big an investment, and then maybe if you like travel and something like that, then you can like, well, I'll just take this Nintendo Switch with me. Then yeah, I think that's the better route to go. So that's my answer.
Okay.
All right. Next question. What lineup from Dylan asks, what lineup of games has you more excited to play, Microsoft or PlayStation's?
PlayStation's, just because we've seen a little bit more of them. Like, we saw a lot of Last of Us. We saw a good amount of Ghost of Tsushima. And we know Days Gone is coming. And we know Spider-Man's coming this year. So, Death Stranding, I still have no idea what it is. Like, part of it looks like a mailman game. Part of it looks like the weird thing with the baby and all that stuff. Like, we just don't know. So, but the stuff Xbox showed is like, it's a long way away. So, I would have to say PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm with you as well, because Microsoft also, like, they announced more of the studios that would be making the games over the games that will be made. So that's why I choose Sony. Like, in the future, I don't know, but for right now, on this conference, Sony has the better lineup going forward.
Well, holy crap. I'm going to agree with you both again. All three of us agreed on something twice in a row. That is unforeseen. Yes, because basically I can't even think of very many Microsoft exclusives that are coming out in the near future or maybe even next year. But the Sony ones have stuck in my head, so for that reason, I would go with Sony for sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all the questions we have time for.
Yep.
Tyler, I'll send it to you.
So yeah, one more question just to wrap up here before we do a giveaway and then kind of wrap up our E3 coverage. Guys, we've had a few days to think on it. Who wins? Who had the best show? And I'm going to go to Graham first. So who wins E3 2018 for you?
Well, I'm going to stick to my original theory because nothing has persuaded me otherwise, and that is Microsoft. Mainly because they laid the blueprint for things to come. And the blueprint looks exciting. There's definitely gives me optimism because they bought 5 studios or partnered with 5 studios. And I learned, first when those studios were announced, I didn't know exactly what these studios, where they came from or what they've created. But some of them have some big games under their belt. So definitely Microsoft. Like I said, we didn't get all the exclusives, but we got a good roadmap which will produce exclusives. So they get my vote.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, I agree. Microsoft won because of the roadmap to the future, as I'm going to call it. What they're showing, what they're planning. They gave us a heads up on that. And they just had the best conference. Like, Sony had the missteps. Bethesda wasn't as awesome as I wanted it to be. Some people might disagree with me, but that's okay. Microsoft had the best show, and it wasn't really even that close.
Yeah. So for me, Sony showed the game Sony showed off were great. The show was awkward and weird in the first half hour to 40 minutes. And I think they had a hard time recovering from that. But the gameplay they showed was amazing. I thought Nintendo did a good job showing off some cool games. I think they spent a little bit too long on Smash Brothers, but whatever. It's the game they wanted to focus on. The one that's changed the most for me over the course of the week, Bethesda, I've warmed to that. That's my number 2. But my winner, hands down, like far and away, is Microsoft. They did everything they needed to do this time. They got people excited. about where Xbox is going, and that has not been the case for a while. So they showed off games, they showed off exclusives, and yeah, a lot of them aren't coming for a long time. Big deal. They're coming. You know, I'd love to see them this year too, but they're coming. We know they're coming. They just acquired 5 new studios that are going to bring lots of new awesome stuff. And they laid out, like Graham said, a roadmap for the future that is exactly what people needed and wanted to hear. So, absolutely Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, you said you warmed to Bethesda, and I have as well. But I still think Ubisoft was better. Ubisoft had an amazing showing.
Ubisoft was really good too. They were. So, all right. Let's do a giveaway. Steve, $50 gift card, and contact one of us and let us know whether you want Xbox or PlayStation. But Steve, who is our winner, our final giveaway of E3 2018?
Yeah, and if you participated across all our groups, you asked questions, you were entered to win. We had a lot of people, and that was awesome. I was so happy to see that. You. But our winner was James Reddington. Awesome. So get in contact with one of us, as Tyler said, and claim your prize. But thanks to everyone who listened and supported us, and we really want to do a lot more giveaways going forward. So don't worry if you didn't win. You'll have plenty of chances in the near future.
Yep, and we're going to start doing giveaways on Twitch. We have some really good crowds on Twitch for our shows this week, and we want to see that improve, so please keep coming out. We thank you for that. And just thank you for all the participation this week. It's been awesome. It's so much more fun when we're talking as a community about it. So It was great.
And we love hearing your feedback too. So if there's stuff you guys want to see us do, either on the show as ancillary stuff, like on Twitch, YouTube, or what have you, like let us know, because we're kind of guessing what you guys want to see right now, and seeing what works and what doesn't. And we really love your feedback. So, you know, we definitely want that. So keep sending those messages, emails, tweets, whatever you're doing to keep in touch with us. We love it.
All right. But first and foremost, we want you to join our community if you haven't. So head on over to Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums, go on to Twitter at TXH Gaming Hub, go to Twitch. A lot of our stuff is through Twitch, so TXH Gaming Hub there. And when you're there, you'll see the links for Facebook and Discord and all that good stuff. We have a YouTube channel, the Gaming Hub Podcast. Head on over, take a look at that, hit subscribe. And if you like the show and you want to help support us and where we want to go in the next year, we kind of set our years up E3 to E3. And we have some big goals. And one of our goals is to be at E3 next year. We're going to have some awesome content. We're not going to be one of the shows that just goes and like hangs out and goes radio silent on you for a week and comes back. We're going to bring you some awesome stuff. And we want to definitely make you part of it with us. So if you want to help support us in all the goals that we have, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/gaminghub. There's a few different tiers there, anything $5 and up. Once we get 10 people there, and we're well on our way, we'll trigger a monthly giveaway of a full $60 game for people for patrons in that tier. So, but there'll be exclusive content for people at any tier on Patreon. So we appreciate your support if you choose to do so. And I do want to call out, we've had a really good response early this week, or over the week with Patreon, and we just had our most recent people, Blake, Anthony B., Evan, Nuka, and Skylar. Thank you so much. We appreciate it more than you know, and thank you for the support. So, for Graham and Steve, I'm Tyler. This is wrapping up E3, guys. We made it. So, yay!
We're all still alive!
I hope everybody had fun. It's been amazing bringing you the coverage over the course of the past 8 days, and we're not done. We're going to be right back here next week with episode number 108. Kind of getting back to normal, but it's been great. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back, like I said, next week with episode number 108. Until then, everybody, have a great week. Recover from E3. Pre-order lots of awesome games, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.